Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean, this is In The Mix, episode 17. It's Tuesday, the 7th of January. Now for those of you that haven't watched it, go back and watch episode 16, which kind of starts out the week. It starts out season 4, introduces you to the team, goes through a whole bunch of different stuff. And other than that little kind of pre-introduction bit I did before the intro yesterday to let you know that it was pre-recorded, I haven't actually been in the game in about 10 days while I've been away. Had an awesome Christmas, had an awesome New Year's. I hope you guys did as well, and wherever you're watching from, I hope you're enjoying 2020 so far. Of course, Australia's on fire. World War III is about to kick off between Iran and the US. But why not enjoy the things in life that you love the most? And I'm desperate to get back involved in this save. So let's jump straight back into the game. And things are going very well. We're currently 14 games in the season, which is a considerable jump ahead. Of course, in that last episode, went through all our preseason results and everything, smashed everyone, beat Peterborough Sports 2-0 on the opening day of the season. Cundall and Shipley getting amongst the goals there. And then we went on a pretty fantastic run, to be honest. We've won 12 games, drawn 1 and lost 1 in that time. Focus on the 2 negative ones. We drew 0-0 with Colin. We were the better side in this game. Created a fair bit, just didn't really convert the chances that we had, and forgot to make subs as well. So really that one kind of comes down to me and not paying attention to how the game itself was going. The loss we had was against Bedworth, which was, I think, first v second at the time that the game was played. We did miss a penalty in this one. We weren't bad either. Like, we had a good game. Our defense was quite good. They got an early goal. We put them under a ton of pressure. Just couldn't pull it back. We've also had a whole bunch of different FA Cup games we've been doing really well with. A late winner got us through past Tunbridge Wells 4-3 in the second qualifying round. Good 2-0 win against Darlington, who are the division above us in the National League North, which was a fantastic performance, probably our best one of the season so far. And then we beat Haringey Borough 4-0. They're currently at the same division level, Isthmian Premier Division. I think I'm pronouncing Isthmian right. If I'm not, let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, we've been doing really well in the league. Like, some good performances, just a solid side that we put together. And as we know, anything can happen when you reload the game, but hopefully we continue that form. We've been doing pretty well so far. We're going to play Hornchurch in the league, and then we have our FA Cup first round tie against Dagenham and Redbridge, who are currently in the Vanarama National League. You can see here they've got a pretty much full squad, and they are all on full-time contracts, so they've got a very, very good team. It'll be an awesome test for us, probably the best side that we've played against so far in the series. So I want to try and get that one to you. I don't think we're going to win, but at least it's a bit of a marker as to how we do against full-time opposition and the squad that we've put together. Speaking of, we have another familiar face back in the lineup. Max Haygarth has returned on loan from Darlington, who we did beat. We played against them. While we played against them, I saw that he wasn't in their squad at all. We went in, made a load signing for him, and he is joining for the rest of the season, which is great. So he's returned. Simeon Ure's returned. We're keeping an eye on a couple of the old favoured personnel, favoured staff that we want to try and bring in. I'm trying to bring back Charlie Ball, but he's signed with Gainsborough. We'll keep an eye on him and see if we can potentially bring him back, because it could be good to have some heroes of the club in the lower divisions that we keep around for a few years. Other than that, we're keeping an eye on quite a few different players around the place. This guy, Sawyer Sanali, is an absolute beast, and we could sign him, but we can't get a work permit for him, which is really frustrating. So we're just going to keep an eye on the different work permit rules. Still only 21 years of age, captain at under 19 level for France, looks to be a phenomenal technical player. So he's one we're keeping an eye on. We're keeping an eye on some other players that we've previously scouted that have signed for other teams. See if they go on the loan list. See if their contracts come up, anything like that. And then we might swoop in and see who we can continue to try and bring in. But things are going well. Happy with the squad. Not going to try and change too much too soon. Sammy Omprion has been fantastic so far this season. 8 goals and 4 assists in 14 appearances in the league itself. Doing phenomenally well at that false 9 role, which isn't one that you see a tremendous amount in the lower divisions. He's mainly dovetailing with Eddie Onhon on the other side, playing as that poacher, but we're also getting pretty good return out of Jack Stainrod that you can see down here. He's got 6 goals in 6 appearances. Most of the 3 sub appearances that you see there are off the bench, but he's chipping in with important goals when we need him to. So I've kind of been rotating those two as the poacher alongside Omprion up top. And Luke Cundall, who's I think been the star so far of the season, the young ex-Wolves junior, has been fantastic at the base of midfield, playing as a Messiah. We're now using him a little bit differently. He's going to play as the deep line playmaker now that Max Haygarth has returned. And this lineup, this structure that you see here is pretty consistent most weeks. We are potentially going to look at turning Abdi Sharif into a right fullback because he can do it quite well. He's got some good attributes for that particular role, but that'll be kind of something that we work on over time, not necessarily something we do immediately. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll jump into the game against Hornchurch and go through the 2 lineups. All right, we've just seen our lineup, but I'll quickly go through it. Scott, of course, in goal. Ex-Manchester City junior doing fantastically well. Krasnicki and Sona as the central defensive partnership. Melbourne as the left fullback. Connolly as the right fullback. He'll take the captain's armband today. Aris on the left wing. Ure on the right. Omprion and Eddie Onhon up top. We do have options on the bench if things aren't going well, so there's quite a bit of depth at the moment in the team. They're going with a 4-4-1-1. A couple of familiar looking faces here. Harry Forster, left winger, we've looked at previously. Ex-Watford Junior, looks to be quite a good player. He's played 2 seasons now at Hornchurch and AFC Sudbury before that. Ex-Billericay Matt Johnson is quite a good player in the centre of the park. 16 long throws. We'll have to keep an eye on from set pieces, see if we see any in the game. We've got Lati Sarpong, 27-year-old midfielder, looks to be okay. Josh Green, ex-Macclesfield right back, looks solid at this level. And who was the other one they had there? Payne, the central defender, looks to be an alright 23-year-old. Came through the youth team at Barnet. So they're not a terrible team. We are seeing more and more sides that are actual players as well, not just like full regens and everything. So I think we're going to have to do well to get past them. But we've got a decent lead at the top of the division. Hopefully we continue adding to it and continuing our good run of form. And of course, taking a win into the game against Dagenham and Redbridge would be fantastic. We're going to passionately tell everyone, great opportunity to show everyone, the media, yeah, they are right to back you up. A few players have seemed motivated, and hopefully we can carry that on to a good performance. There's a kickoff highlight here, which sometimes is good, sometimes it's a nightmare. We do have possession. Haygarth switches it out left to Aris. Have we got anything early that we're going to go after here? Back to Melbourne. Looks for a ball in behind. Agbula clears it away. Sarpong with the clearance to no one in particular. Connolly on the right, plays it forward to Ure, who beats men consistently at this level. Kang's ball across backstick to Aris, and it's his 3rd goal of the season, so a fantastic start. And 35 seconds in, I think, roughly, give or take, we've taken a lead in this one. It was good play. Worked it well side to side, or they worked it well side to side for us by clearing it. Ure looks to go around his man, then just stands up, hangs the ball backstick, and Aris gets goal side with the header back across the goalkeeper, who maybe could have done a little bit better. Wasn't that far behind him, wasn't really in the corner. But I'm going to take it, and we go a goal to the good to start the episode strong. Deep free kick here. Ure's going to take it. He just hangs it up. Agbula brings the ball down, and I think they've given away a penalty. Saunders pushes Krasniki in the box. Omprion was in the area. Eddie Onhon's going to take the resulting penalty. We're about 50-50 from these, and that's one of the misses. The rebound does fall to him, and they managed to get it away for a corner. It was pretty much straight down the middle. It was a good save by Elva or Iva in the Hornchurch goal. Aris with the corner. It's gone out the back. Ure should tidy up. Keeps it in, but the highlight comes to an end. We've missed more penalties, I think, than we've scored this season, which is just ridiculous. Eddie Onhon with the ball here, plays it back to Haygarth in midfield, who's got space to burst into, playing as that Messiah role. Ball in behind from Omprion's perfectly weighted, and that's an excellent finish from Sammy Omprion, his 15th goal of the season in 15 league games. Wonderful weighted pass there from Max Haygarth. We'll check this one out in 3 dimensions. But you see here, he just notices that space in behind the right fullback, puts it into that area, fullback commits, Omprion reads it around the back, takes a touch, and then on his not favoured left foot, puts it low and hard back across the goalkeeper. Quality finish. And we go 2 goals up. We're going to use the shout early. We're going to praise everyone because that's good football and what we want to see. Everyone seems fired up. Connolly seems overwhelmed. We've got Connolly and Aris on yellow cards. We'll have to keep an eye on those as the game continues. Connolly with the throw now. Eddie Onhon to Ure. Back to Connolly again. Deep ball across towards Aris back stick. And he finds the finish again. His 2nd goal of the game and 4th of the season. It's a great finish from Nigel Aris. And he's getting himself on the end of quite a few of these deep crosses. It's good play here. Connolly just finds Eddie Onhon's feet. Finds Ure. Ure retains possession. Back to Connolly. And he's got all the time in the world to hang one back post. Aris is there first. We did also have, who is that? Omprion in the area to add his 2nd goal, but thankfully we find the finish. Long ball forward now from Elva in the Hornchurch goal. Looks like a goal kick. Haygarth does very well to bring the ball down. Ball in behind for Aris. It's recovered by the defender, but short pass back, and Nigel Aris has gotten a hat-trick in the first half, which is a phenomenal turnaround for him. 4-0 in the 42nd minute. It's just a defensive mix-up here. Haygarth does very well. Omprion with a good way to pass. And then he's gone. Green guy goes after the tackle. And then when he recovers possession again, he just shorts the back pass to the keeper. And Aris is there and on hand to smash home at near post and get his 3rd goal of the game. Campbell with the throw in here. We've had a lot of highlights in the first half, which is good to see. Martin with the header. Ure recovers ball very, very well. Moves out left now. Aris, who has got Melbourne as the fullback outside him. Krasniki looks for the long one forward to Omprion. Tries to flick on a header when perhaps he didn't need to. Martin now with the ball. Back to Sarpong in midfield. Johnson. Switch out right to Saunders, who's 1v1 against the fullback. He goes past him now, but additional support's coming. Melbourne covers the cross. Ball into Widrington. Across to Sarpong. This is the first real incursion we've seen from Hornchurch. Forster's in behind on the left wing. Cuts it back for Martin, and Scott can't get there. So they've pulled one back to make it 4-1. No clean sheet today. But the first real danger we've seen. We might have switched off a little bit since that last goal went in. And it's a good way to pass in behind. Forster just stands up, cuts it back, and Martin, first time finish. Scott got something on it, but a bit tough. Diving down to his left to try and push that one out. All right, 4-1 up at halftime. Nothing to complain about. We've also missed a penalty. 8 shots, 6 on target, 46% of the ball. They've had 2, 1, and 54. Let's just tell everyone, very pleased with your performance, lads. Let's keep it going. And let's not risk anything. Let's go and make our 2 subs. So we're going to bring on Abdi Sharif at right back. Continue that experiment that we spoke about. We're going to bring on Robson Shipley at left wing just because of those 2 yellow cards that we picked up. Not really looking to risk anyone going into the next game. 30 minutes remain. We've got to throw in here. It's with Melbourne in the left back spot. Played forward, but it's a poor pass. Green with a long one forward. Martin knocks it down to Widrington. Skips past one challenge in midfield. Looks to play the reverse pass to Martin, who thankfully has ruined that 1-on-1. He just slid it past the goalkeeper and out for the corner, or out for the goal kick. They've got the ball here again though. Throw in. Merson back to Green. They're in a very deep right back position. Looks for long ball up the line. Krasniqi does well to bring the ball down. Shipley to Kundal. Ball over the top towards Omprion. Loses out to the header though. Agbula goes with long ball forward. Martin brings it down again. Widrington to Merson. It's a long highlight. Now they're looking for the ball in behind for Martin, who runs off the shoulder, gets the strike away. Scott with a good save, and Krasniqi does well to read the play and hook the clearance into touch. 20 minutes remaining. Sharif plays the 1-2 with Haygarth, who gives up possession in a poor area. Forster with the ball forward. Sona should tidy up. Forward to Sharif now. Ball in towards Omprion. Payne hands it away unchallenged. Sarpong to Johnson. They're definitely making us work a little bit more. Martin again with the running behind. They're picking on Miles Sona at the moment. They've pulled another one back. Romario Martin with his 9th goal of the season. Ex-Continental Star Junior, 11 finishing, but he's causing us some problems here in the second half. See here, Johnson with the ball. It's just a long ball over the top. Sona doesn't read it particularly well, and we don't drop effectively once the ball goes in behind. Martin with a good save, pretty much straight through Tom Scott. So what we might do is let's have a look at our subs here. Who's performing well? Eddie Onhon's struggling a little bit. Melbourne's struggling a little bit. We'll go defensive first. Bring on Finley Armstrong to tidy up the game. Passionately, let's say a lot more to come from him. And let's also use our Get Creative shout. See if we can't just inspire a few players to create some goal-scoring opportunities of our own. Very good opening 40 minutes, but we've kind of dropped off a little bit once the game was won. Do have a highlight here. Sharif to take into Haygarth. Ball across to Kundal. Does very well to bring it down. Back into Sharif. Haygarth to Ure. Got a 2v1 if we work this correctly. Instead, we've copped up possession. Kundal nearly recovers, but Martin again on halfway, keeping possession. Ball back to Green. Now to Sarpong, to Green again. They're just keeping possession here. Playing it between Sarpong and Green. Not looking for a forward pass yet. But they play it forward to Martin. Sarpong again. Ball in behind. Sona should tie this one up without any dramas. It's a poor touch. Apiar's picked up possession. And he's gotten the strike away, but it's a good save from Tom Scott, who did very well to cover for his central defender there. Sona hasn't had a good second half. His match rating isn't terrible, but we are out of subs. Can't really do anything about it. Forster to take. Johnson with the header at back post, and Scott does very well to hold the ball. Into the last few minutes, we're going to use our demand more shout. Everyone seems focused. We just need to get through to the final whistle. And it comes in the 94th minute. 4-2 in the end. They did pull 2 back after going 4 goals down. 15 shots, 8 on target, 50% of the ball. They had 10, 5, and 50. Nigel Harris, 9.4 match rating, should get the man of the match award. Let's calmly just tell everyone, a good win, boys, well done. But in reality, you'd want to kind of hold on and see out a game a bit more effectively than what we have in that match. It does see us go 12 points clear, but we have now played 15 games. Everyone else in the division playing 14. And Bedworth, the one team that actually beat us so far this season, currently sits in second spot. But you can see it's very tight. Brackley, Eversham, Kettering, Lowestoft, they're all within striking distance. And then even beyond that, St. Neots and Worcester are not far behind Lowestoft either. So still relatively tight. We want to try and keep ourselves ahead of that scuffle as much as possible. FC Isle of Man secure victory at the bowl. Nigel Harris' hat-trick enough to get him the Man of the Match award. And let's praise his performance and tell him passionately superb in front of goal. And he is pretty happy with that, which is great to see. We've got 3 days until the game against Dag and Red. We're going to give everybody a rest. Play Abdi Sharif at right back in the next one because Connolly has picked up a suspension. So we'll just give all of them 1 day's rest, and then hopefully that should be enough to get us through. We've also got a new player we might actually potentially start. Reece Williams, ex-Liverpool junior. We picked him up, I think, just before we started recording this episode, so we might replace Miles Sona with him, just because I don't think Sona had a good game last time out. Probably a risky thing to do before we play Dag and Red, but magic of editing, we're going to jump forward to that game now. Alright, just like that, we're a couple of days ahead. They are playing a mental-looking formation. We'll go through that one first. It's like a 3-3-3-1. It's a little bit like Skinny Bielsa, but it's kind of like a 5-4-1 as well with a diamond midfield. So some good players that they've got in here. They've got Liam Gordon, 23-year-old central midfielder who's come through their youth academy. Looks to be very, very solid technically, mentally, physically. They've got Andrew Eleutherio, who's a Cypriot youth international, ex-Watford junior. I think he's been on our radar for like forever. I feel like I've seen that name, seen that face the last few years in lower league saves. Fossey at left back, Marlon Fossey, 24-year-old ex-Fulham American youth international. Mason Goodrich, ex-Burnley central midfielder, also came through the Man City academy, looks to be a quality player. They got Mitch Brundle, who, if you've managed at this level before, you know is a fantastic player. Played at Dover, Gateshead, Braintree before that. Billy Bingham looks quality as well. So they've definitely got some good players in here. Jackson's the only region that we can see. And then up top, Jamie Thomas, 25-year-old ex-Burnley, Blackpool and Bolton Wanderers player, 13 finishing. Looks to be quite the young player himself. So we're going to have to be at our best to get past them. Only two changes, the two that we discussed. Sheriff comes in at right back and takes captain's armband with Connolly out suspended. And Williams will come in for his debut. Reece Williams, 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. Looks to be a very good defensive option, good concentration, good heading, good tackling, good physical attributes. Hopefully we can use him quite effectively in this game. He'll partner Krasniqi in the only other change. All right, and I just told the team just to relax, not worry too much about the scoreline. We just want to keep morale as high as humanly possible. And while it would be great to go through to the second round of the FA Cup, in reality, we've already won 3 or 4 games, which has helped our bank balance quite a bit. Sheriff with the ball forward. Goldridge recovers. Bingham with the ball over the shoulder for Thomas. He's gotten in behind. It's a good finish. That's just that difference in quality. He's in a wide area. Most strikers in our division were either blazed over or gone near post. And he's just slammed that one home back low and hard across the goalkeeper. Gordon with a good header. Goodrich does well. Plays a square ball to Bingham. And then Bingham, pretty well weighted pass over the top. Keeper doesn't come out effectively enough. Probably doesn't get his angles 100% right either, but it's hard to be too critical when we're playing a side of mostly full-time players. Throw in here. First one that we've seen where we start with possession. Williams is taking the throw-ins. I'm not sure why. Sheriff to Williams. Ball over top for Omprion, who's done a great touch and then gets the strike away, but he's just given offside, I think, in the build-up to that one. But still, first highlight we've seen. Bingham, deep ball across, back post towards Oniriase, I think one of the defenders, and he heads a powerful header just past the far post. We're going to mix stuff up. We're going to go with that cautious mentality just for the last 15 minutes, and we're also going to use our demand more shout just to give everyone some focus, see if we can't get through to half-time, keeping it at a 1-goal margin. Ball thrown into Jackson on the left wing. Switch out towards Eleutherio. Melbourne with a good header. Omprion's picked up the ball in a good space. Good tackle from Oniriase, and then a long clearance forward. Thomas is going to get there first in the box, and he's got his second goal of the game. It was just a long clearance. I don't think it was anything that was deliberately put together by Dagon Red, but once it was in that space and he was facing goal, you could just have the feeling that physically he was going to get there before everyone. It's a good tackle, good sliding challenge, and then just a long clearance into the space in behind. They back Thomas to get there first, and he absolutely rifles that one on the volley right into the top corner, or on the half volley at least. Well, we get to half-time 2-0 down. Nothing to be too upset about, but we haven't had much in the way of match stats. So I'm thinking what we might do is we'll go into our tactics. Let's go attacking, because why not? Kundal's picked up a knock, so I don't really want to risk him any further. We'd like to keep him for the season. So we'll bring Connor Hodgson on to play as the deep line playmaker on defend. And if we go back into the team talk, let's go aggressive. Much better showing. A few have responded as fired up, and that's what we need to see. Throw in here, Sheriff to take. Eddie on with a flick on header. Gordon's going to clear it away, but only as far as Melbourne. Into Aris. Back to Melbourne again. Get around the man. Finds a cut back towards Eddie on. It falls to the top of the box, and Haygarth with the strike. Never really looked like it was troubling the goal, but had a lot on it. Decent amount of venom. Anyhow, gone. Eddie Onhon's struggled in both games, so we might give Jack Stainrod some time, see how he goes. And then Abdi Sharif isn't having the greatest performance, but I'm not super worried about it. We might also give Robson Shipley some time on the right wing in place of Simeon Ure. Let's passionately say a lot more to come from you. And let's also use our Get Creative shout. Let's just see if we can try and pull 1 goal back. I think that'd be a good mark of improvement as to how we can get better, how we can start playing a bit better against full-time sides. This is the division that we want to try and get to in the next few seasons. Melbourne into Stainrod. He gets the header away, and it wasn't far off. Ball flicked away here. We've got another corner here. Just set up in the commentary there. It's a great spell of dominance for Isle of Man. It hasn't been converted too much into opportunities, but Stainrod has the ball now. Turns 2 men very well. Hangs the ball back stick towards Aris, who gets his header away, and Hale with a good save sends it out for a corner again. So we are putting some pressure on. Shipley towards Williams, gets the header in, but it was not the best effort. It always looked like it was ballooning over the crossbar. 10 minutes remaining. Let's use our demand more shout. See if we can get some focus through to half-time or full-time. Statistically in the second half, we've brought it back tremendously well. Haygarth plays the ball into space for Stainrod to chase. Can he find the cutback? And instead, he goes himself and gets his 8th goal of the season. A wonderful assist from Max Haygarth again, who's got a couple in this episode. And we're going to make things interesting in the last few minutes here. Haygarth with the ball, plays in behind for Stainrod, takes a good touch forward into the box, and then as the keeper comes out, he just passes it into the far corner. Not that dissimilar to Jamie Thomas's, maybe a little bit closer in by the time he took the second touch. But we're definitely going to turn the screws a little bit here in the last few minutes. Let's use our Get Creative shout one more time in injury time. Got the ball here, ball forward to Aris. Header across his paw, Bingham tidies up. Oni Arase, who's had a pretty decent game from the highlights we've seen. Williams with the ball forward. Stainrod challenges. Ball in behind for Thomas again. He's on a hat-trick here. He bursts into the box and finds the finish. So that's the nail in the coffin. And to be fair, very similar goals for each of the ones that he scored. They just put the ball in space for him. He's obviously quite quick and reads the game very well. But Bingham just turns, hooks the ball over into the space. And once he gets into the box, it kind of back him to finish a little bit. Maybe Thomas Scott could have done a little bit better in our goal, but that's the difference, I think, between part-time contracts or the non-contracts that we're offering and full-time football at the national level. In the end, not disappointed. Like, not the worst result ever to lose 3-1 to a team 2 divisions above you, to lose 3-1 to a team that has the ability to offer full-time contracts, which is the big one for us at the moment. We've had 14 shots, 4 on target and 49% of the ball. That's a great second half considering we had, I think, 1 or 2 at halftime. 14 shots, 7 on target and 51% possession for Dag and Red. Jamie Thomas getting the hat-trick. He'll be the man of the match. But Jack Stainrod did very well, pulling a goal back and generally looking lively off the bench. Let's just say, can't fault your effort, boys. Just one of those days. And everyone seems both relaxed and motivated. And it's one less competition now that we have to focus on. We were never going to win the FA Cup, but at least we've gone on a little bit of a run and thankfully put some extra money into the bank. Daggers get the better of FC Isle of Man. Jamie Thomas's hat-trick, of course, gets the Man of the Match award. Reece Williams makes his debut and wasn't horrific by any sense. We're going to send the assistant to the post-match press conference, and we get 6.9k after losing against Dag and Red, which is going to be very good for our finances. We're back up into positive bank balance, 22.76k. The one thing that we've got that we do need to try and work on in the second half of the season is the wage budget portion here. We're $321 over at present, which is basically the value of the Max Haygarth loan. We'll figure something out in that respect. We'll find a way to work everybody in, or we'll continue asking the club. Make a board request. Can we ask anything about the wage budget? Can we increase the transfer budget? They're not willing to do that because of the financial situation. We will find a way to get the wage budget under control over the next few episodes. Speaking of, looking forward at what we've got coming up. Out of the FA Cup now, but still in the FA Trophy, still in the English Southern League Cup, which we would like to do well in both because we need the cash. We're expected to reach the 4th round of the FA Trophy, which I think is pretty deep. We're also expected to reach the final of the Southern League Cup, which I guess makes sense if it's just a League Cup of the teams in our division. As we look at the schedule, I do kind of want to jump forward a little bit, but maybe not too far. So maybe we'll do the game against Banbury here because their logo is hilarious. It cracks me up every time I see it. And then we might do the game against Bedworth, who are the only team that we've lost to in the division so far. So maybe a bit of a revenge episode next time out. Jump forward to February and set ourselves up nicely to do the run home for Season 4. And if things continue as they are in the league, we should be absolutely crushing it by the time we come back. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the portion that I appreciate the most. If you are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to be kept up to date on all our different videos as they're released. Throw a like on it if you want to please the YouTube algorithm and have stuff like this appear higher up in your suggested videos, recommended videos, whatever else. It does help the growth of the channel. But again, I just appreciate everyone watching. That's the part that means the most to me. You follow our social media stuff just over there, Twitter, YouTube, and our Sunday night Twitch streams, which are going to be more consistent, or Sunday morning if you're in the UK and watching from there. They're going to be more consistent throughout the course of 2020. But as always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.